What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the garage. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the two-wheel teacher. Today I'm going to be talking about Aquatic AV's brand new kit, this 6x9 saddlebag speaker kit. All-inclusive, comes with everything you need to put it on your bike, add a couple more speakers to your rig, add a little bit more volume. Let's take a look. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking a look. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment if you've got any questions. If you're a longtime subscriber and you've been wondering, like, hey, Teach, where you been? It's been about 4 months since we've seen a video. I got a channel update coming and another video. I don't want to take up viewers' time with a channel update when they're here to talk about some speakers. But if you are curious about what I've been doing for the last 4 months and why I've been kind of radio silent, that channel update's going to be coming later. But today we're talking about everything that comes in this saddlebag speaker kit from Aquatic AV. Back in December, they got in touch with me. I assume that they saw my couple videos about their stereo replacement, the replacement I did last summer. And I think they liked the video and they thought, hey, let's send this guy a kit, see if he can put it on his bike, have him do some videos. Just so you guys know, I am not being paid for this. This does not include any sort of paid promotion. They sent me the kit and just said, make some stuff about it. In fact, I've actually had to spend a little bit more of my personal money than I originally planned on this project, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. And so I'm excited to talk about it here with you guys today. So I'm actually mid-install as I'm making this sort of intro section. So I'm going to talk about what comes in the kit. You're not going to be able to see everything collectively together at this point because I've got about half of it on the bike and I'm going to be able to show you that here in just a second. But here's what comes with this kit. Let's start with the actual speakers themselves. These are the cones. And what you can't really tell just from looking at it, but maybe can tell from the side profile, if you look at the tweeter there, you got some sort of somewhat translucent plastic. This actually has RGB LEDs in it, and you can see coming off of the connection here, you've got the audio connection right here, just sort of a stereo, sort of a typical connection right there. You've actually got an RGB controller port right there. So the RGB can actually be connected up to your stereo, which you can then connect to the RGB controller with the Bluetooth app that Aquatic's going to be releasing on the Apple App Store here in the next couple weeks, they've told me. And I believe the build is already available for Android users. So if you're an Android user, this will work for you right now. So this is the speaker itself. It's really, really sturdy, really finely woven. Don't know what this is. I'm not any sort of material scientist person, but it definitely looks like a really sturdy setup. It's not paper or any cheap plastic by any means. So the speakers mount into these mounts. And then on top of each of those, you've got these grates that come with it. So for each saddlebag, you actually get these molds, these cutouts that sit on top, and they sit at the front of your saddlebag. You stick them in, you screw into the top of your saddlebag lid, you screw it in, and then you've got all these holes that you screw in little holes, and then if you've got like a Dremel or some sort of cutting tool, then you get in there, you cut everything out, and you end up cutting your own saddlebag lid so you don't have to buy replacement lids, which is really nice because that's what I had to do, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. But this whole kit comes with everything you need to just make this a weekend project. It is probably about an intermediate install. You're going to need a fair amount of tools. You're going to need some confidence with, like I said, a Dremel or some sort of cutting tool. You're going to need a fair assortment of tools to get this done. You're going to need to be pretty familiar with your bike, which is why Aquatic recommends that you actually have a dealer do this for you. Like I said, if you are really familiar with your rig, you know what you're doing, you feel good about electrical stuff, which I have convinced myself that I do feel good about, then you could go ahead and just do this for yourself, not have to pay for the labor, save yourself a little bit of money. You're not going to be saving yourself time. I would say you're going to want to set aside, if you are really competent, with your tools and with your bike, you could probably get this whole thing done in maybe 4 to 6 hours. And again, I'm spitballing because remember, I am the epitome of Joe Schmo. I'm just a guy who owns a Harley, likes to make some YouTube videos. I've got space in my garage. I've spent a little bit too much money on the tools that I have, and I'm just trying to put some stuff together. If you're not all too confident, which is totally fine, with your tools and with your bike, and you've got the change to go ahead and have someone actually do the install for you, I would recommend having someone else go through the time and the pain of doing this for you. You know it's going to be done right. You know you're going to be paying for what you get. But if you've got the time and the money, let's do it yourself. So you also get, this is the RGB controller. Still trying to figure out where exactly I am going to install this itself. And the reason I'm still figuring this out is because you've obviously got your ground, you've got your hot wire, and then you've got your ignition only signal hot right here. If you were to just run some extended wires from here to the battery, you would end up draining your battery because it would be pulling voltage the entire time, regardless of if the bike were on or not. What I am trying to find is an ignition only circuit. So I'm in the process of finding that. I'm going to get that spliced into there, and then I should be good to go with the RGB controller. This is basically just a Bluetooth controller that, again, you hook up to with an app on your phone, tell it what lights and colors you want to be coming out of the cone of the speaker, and you've just got something that looks aesthetically pleasing and also sounds a little bit better too. So that's pretty much what comes with the entire kit. You also get things like anything you need for mounting, things for installation. It doesn't come with any little tools by any means, but it does come with all the parts that you need to get this install done. So I've actually already got one of these saddlebags done. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that up on the work table, show you guys what I've done. I'm gonna walk you through what it takes to do the other saddlebag. Let's do it. So there's a pretty good chance you saw the title of this video and you wanted to know what I meant by don't buy from Advanblack until you watch this. And that is because I kind of took a risk by going with Advanblack just because I'd never worked with them before, had never ordered anything from them. I don't know anybody who's bought anything from Advanblack. And the thing is, their stuff is so affordable. They do paint matching, they do stuff that fits basically every year of bike, and it's really good looking stuff. And the prices almost seem too good to be true, which is why I was a little hesitant to go ahead and buy. But I knew if I wanted to get these speakers onto my Street Glide, I was going to have to buy something from somebody. So I went with Advanblack. I went and looked through all their reviews, and everybody seemed really pleased with what they got, and I am really pleased with what I got. So here's what I bought. I went on to advanblack.com and I found speaker lids for saddlebags for I think it was 09 to 2013 or 99 to 13. Doesn't matter, covers 13, that's what my bike is. All right, so this is what we get. Is this really good looking, perfectly paint matched. I know that my stock latch is really beat up. That's all right. And it's just a really clean, well-built, good looking lid. Apologize for my really messy workbench. This is just kind of what my area looks like. So there it is. That is what the completed installation looks like on the outside. Yep, this is actually fully installed as far as the speaker goes. Let's take a look at that. All right, guys, so this is what the actual install looks like on the inside. I like to think I did a pretty clean job. I certainly tried. Let me talk about a couple things just about the install before we jump into doing the other saddlebag. So you can see I've got the speaker in there. All the fittings as far as where the screws worked perfectly with these lids. The only thing I did have to do was just pick up these 1-inch bolts here with some matching nuts so that I can mount in. The ones that come with the kit from Aquatic AV are actual screws, and they just sink themselves into the brackets that you mount the speakers into. Obviously here I had to do a little bit tighter fitment. I didn't have any spare plastic or any sort of anything to screw into, so I just had to go with these nuts and bolts. They're working really well. So Aquatic AV sends you these actual, I don't know what you can see. Here, see if I get a better angle here. So they actually send you these pieces of hardware, right, that you could screw in. I've got thicker plastic here, so that's a screw. I just sunk that right in there, and then they give you these little mounts and a bunch of zip ties so that you can go ahead and get all that really cleanly mounted in there and channeled and fed. The little bit of machining, and not even machining, just a little bit of alteration you have to do to a stock bag is you do have to cut a hole. The installation does ask for a 1-inch round hole. My biggest drill bit is only about a 1/2 inch, so what I did is I just sunk 2 holes in, and then I just took a grinder with my Dremel and I just went in there and smoothed it out, cleaned it out. So now I've got a pretty good, this is about the perfect size for the rubber grommet for the rest of the line to get in there. So that is what a completed saddlebag looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and complete the other saddlebag. I'm gonna talk about what it takes to get the sound from your stereo back to your speakers. All right, so here's a perfectly stock saddlebag. It's got everything that comes with the stock saddlebag, looks just as it should. This side latch is in a lot better shape than the left side. I think the guy that owned my bike before me might have put it down on the left side one time. Some other evidence of that, but anyway, here is the saddlebag. I've got it empty, I've got it off the bike. And all we are doing is detaching the lid from this mechanism to go ahead and just get this off to reattach the next one. Now, I'm just gonna re-disclaim myself here. I am just a guy who bought some parts and is crazy enough, well, not crazy, confident enough, rightly or otherwise, with a screwdriver to try and do this on his own. So if you are more familiar and you know more than me, and you know more than me, feel free to leave a constructive, critical comment down below. Go for it, go ahead. But I'm not a tech. I have no education here as far as all this goes, but it's my bike. I'm gonna give it a shot. Here's what we're gonna be doing. Step one, this cloth bit right here, obviously this is gonna have to go. You've got two different driver sizes, because why not? Why would they use the same size screw for this? No one knows. All right, so we've got this guy off. Don't do anything with that. Keep that one near you. You are gonna need it. The next part of our task is there are 5 mounting screws and a couple plates, one plate behind in the saddlebag lid itself. We need to get those out. This is about the only way I could figure out just to get these started. All right, so there it goes. Let's set this aside. In just a second, I want to show you guys. So this mounting plate has actually got threads in it, and this is what those mounting screws actually fit into. All right, we got it. Advan also send weather liner. This comes with it. They send this with the lid, which I was really surprised by, not because I wouldn't think that they would, but simply because on the website it says sold separately, and they sent it with it anyway, which is super cool. So I don't know if that was a fluke, or if the website's not up to date, or if I can't read. Any of those are possibilities. All right, so these are really well packaged. And like I said, I mean, the first one is just absolutely pristine. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to undo these screws for the grill. I'm gonna go ahead and take the grill off first. As you can see, this just goes on like so. All right, so I've got those in there, which is great. Now, the next step is going to be getting the actual speaker in. So let's do that. So I'm glad I just double checked. You're just gonna make sure your leads go to the rear of the bike. The next thing we're gonna have to take care of is that cloth bit that limits the range of motion from closed to out. And we're gonna go ahead and do that after we do the weather stripping. All right. Pretty much got a flush meat right there, and we are insulated. At this point, we are going to set this aside just for a moment. So we're gonna take care of that cloth part. Here is our cloth bit. Just really tough nylon, I think, looking stuff. And on either end of it, you've got these little plates. Now, when you do this saddlebag lid install, you're basically taking about half of the width away out of this guy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it as straight as I can right down the middle. And now, we are still gonna use these. These are important. I'm gonna slip this back in. I'm gonna line up the hole. I'm just gonna mark it. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to fire up the grinder. I'm gonna go ahead and cut there, and they'll fit. All right, so we've got our 2 half brackets. Slip these in. Make sure, good length there. They're a little warm, good length there. All right, fantastic. So we've got that bit. All right, we can bring our saddlebag back over. So Advan built in a little bit of plastic here for you to screw into. Oops, which is nice. And then you mount into this back one right here. Now, you've got a small assortment of screws set to the side at this point. These screws are just flat at the end. They've got about a few millimeters of just no threads before you hit the thread, so that's how you know these are the screws you need for this. These leads that come off your speaker are actually gonna end up going under this. All right, that's nice and tight. All right, if you're still with me, nice. Here's the next step. So I have just cleaned off with a paper towel and some water this part of the saddlebag, because this is where we're going to drill that hole for the cables to go into from the frame of the bike itself. So I've got a little bit of masking tape, Aquatic, in the install manual. They recommend just masking anytime you drill into plastic. It's a good idea. You're going to want to center your hole $1.75 up from the bottom, and then an inch and a half in from the front of the bag. So basically what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be basically drilling kind of like a figure 8, is I'm going to center my bottom hole sort of just under center. Then I'm going to, with the second punch, I'm going to put just high of center, and then I'm going to go in with the Dremel to kind of shape it out. Believe it or not, we are just about done with the saddlebag install. All right. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to use a combination of these metal hooks and the screws that come in the kit, as well as these mounting plates with two-sided tape, and then these zip ties. You're basically going to, these zip ties slip through the little mounting plates. Then you're going to zip tie the cable lead as close to the front along its outer wall up around to the front, so that's out of the way when you go ahead and use these for luggage. Voila! There we go. That is how you get that speaker installed into an Advan lid. That's where your leads end up. There you go. All right, if you've made it to the end of this video, please hit subscribe, please hit like. I must have done something right, or maybe you fell asleep. Either way, this video is long enough. I think I'm just gonna leave it at the saddlebag, lid, speaker, all that installation, and I'm actually gonna make another video showing how to get the sound from the back of your stereo or your amplifier all the way to the back. So I'm the Tool Wheel Teacher. I'll see you guys on the road.